am hoping that you can see me and that we're going live. I'm hoping this is working. Yes, anyway, we'll see how we go. I'm just going to just adjust my camera a little so you can see more of my workspace, because we seem to be very close. Whoops. Oh, I don't know what's going on here. Alright. So, hoping that some people are watching. Yeah, I hope everyone's had a really fabulous week, and and you are well. All right, we'll just share our link and see if we have a few people watching. If not, I'll be talking to myself. All right. So make sure you say hello if you're watching. And yes. I've just had a couple of questions. Are you going live? Yes, I am. All right, so we might have a couple of tech difficulties, but let's see how we go. I'm hoping that people can see me and that everything's okay. All right. So I'll just share this live. I have no idea. All right, so we've got someone watching. I don't know who. So hopefully we are doing okay. I'll just double check the settings, make sure that we're doing okay here. All right. Okay, let's see. See, hopefully some people are watching and we can get started. Okay. All right. So I'm going to get started. I'm hoping that more people join me later on. If you're watching, make sure that you comment in the chat. I'm pretty sure I had all the settings right, and I'm sure that everything's right, but I would have no clue. All right. So today what we're doing is we're looking at some basics. So we're getting a bit back to basics with Card Making 101. So we're looking at the foundations of a basic card. So you need a half a sheet of whatever your cardstock is, whether so it's either half a sheet of a letter or half a sheet of an A4 if you're in the South Pacific. And then have 6 by 6 inch piece of pattern paper. So that's a quarter of a 12 by 12 piece. And it is, so that's going to be another foundation piece. Then you have a quarter of an A4 sheet, or a quarter of a letter sheet. This is quarter of an A4. Then you have another piece of cardstock, which is an eighth of an A4 or an eighth of a letter sheet. And then a piece of white, which is quarter of an inch less. So these basic tools will allow you to make just about any sort of card that you like. I've had a few people say that they have technical issues and I don't know how to fix those while I'm live. So I'm sorry if you're not able to watch live. Okay. It'll be live very, very soon. Okay. So what we're going to do is just start with 101 basics, and that is fold your base card in half. Really, really simple. Okay. Now, you've got this piece that is quarter of an A4 sheet. So we're just going to cut it down so that it is quarter of an inch smaller than the front of our base card. Okay. So maybe, well, we'll work in centimetres. It'll be 10 centimetres. Some people prefer centimetres. And then it'll be just under, it's almost 14 point, well, we're going to make it 14.5 centimetres, just make it easy. Take it to the nearest half centimetre. Don't mess around with point whatever. Like, just don't worry about that. Okay. So if you're watching, let me know and I'll see if I can see you in the live chat. I'm not able to see that at the moment. I'm hoping this chat is enabled. Okay. Anyway, we'll just see if that's enabled or not. All right. So we've got our two base pieces. So now this one is a piece of paper from the annual catalogue, and it's Saboko paper. I'll put the paper in the comments when I'm finished the live. And then we're just going to cut that. Now you could do this, you could do so many things with this one 6 by 6 piece. But we're doing really basics today because I'm travelling on stage tomorrow and I have packing to do and I've got all sorts of things happening. So we're going to cut this down to 13.5 centimetres. It's 13.5? Let me just check. No, we're going to cut it down to 14 centimetres. Lucky I checked that. 14 centimetres. Now don't throw this little scrap away. And then this one was 10. So we're going to cut that to 9. So we've got it 14 centimetres by 9.5 centimetres. So that is approximately 3 3/4 by 5.5 inches approximately. Okay, so let's just have a look. So that's going to be your perfect layer. So 3 3/4 inches by 5.5, or 9.5 centimetres by 14 centimetres. Okay, so that's our first 3 layers. Now remember before I said you needed another piece of cardstock, which is 1/4 of an A4 or 1/4 of a letter. That's going to be a layering piece. Now you can use that for die cutting. You can cut it whatever shape you like. We are just doing the really basics tonight, and not quite sure why we've got things not happening the way that they should, but that's okay. We're just going to carry on. So tonight I'm going to use this one just as a base, and I've still got some more pattern paper as well. So we're going to use that as part of our decoration also. So the bundle I'm using today is the Easter basket bundle, because you know Easter's coming up. So what I'm going to do with this piece here, so I'm going to put this piece in the inside of my card to decorate that. But this piece here, I'm going to cut out with my die cuts some little banners. Now I've got my mini cutting machine here. Just going to move these out the way so you can see the mini cutting machine. Oh, I saw someone's message. Okay. Sorry, I can't see the live chat, and I really want to. I don't know why. Anyway, it is what it is, and if I could see the live chat, I would be replying to you, all right? Well, I seem to have a couple of messages in live chat. Oh, hi Gail. Hi Christine. And hi Glenda. I'm still groggy. I'm a bit meh. I did manage to drive myself to the hairdresser today, so that was progress. I'm so glad I could see the live chat now. Yeah, it is doing my head in not being able to see what people are saying. But anyway, I just have to carry on, really. Now, Steve has been in our study all week, and because he's been back at work, and he's rearranged. And so I don't know why my drawers have gotten rearranged, but they have. And so I'm frantically looking here for for plates so I can cut. And do you think that I can see them anywhere? I don't know where he might have put them. He's got little piles of stuff everywhere. Anyway, we might not be doing that because, oh, here we go, found them. Whew. Don't know what they're doing under his laptop, but anyway, let's go. All right. Chrissy is crooked. No. Yes, Glenda, I am going to on stage tomorrow. I'm flying to Sydney tomorrow, and yes, I am hoping that it will all go really well, and I will not be sick while I'm there. And yeah, so we're just going to, let me just, let's just cut these little guys here. Chrissy is crooked. Oh, I'm so sorry. Let me see if I can zoom out a little bit. Zoom out just a bit. And straighten things up for you. All right, so I'm just going to cut 2 of these little banners out of the leftover of my DSP. All right. So as I said, we're doing the basics today. So we've got half an A4 sheet, quarter of an A4 sheet, a 6x6 piece of DSP, and a piece of white that is about 1/4 of an inch less than the quarter sheet of cardstock. All right. Now I'm going to, over the next little while, do quite a few projects that have the same, use the same foundations. Okay. So that way, that if you're new to card making, you can follow along and you can go, oh, I know how to do that, and you'll learn really quickly what works and what doesn't. Okay, I'm not doing a whole lot of really fancy stuff on this particular card. I could have, maybe I should have done it, cut out a bow. No, we're not going to cut out a bow, we're just going to stick to the plan. Now let me just see if I can straighten up my camera a little bit on my sheet underneath. How's that? Is that better, Christine? I think that's a bit better. That looks a bit straighter there. I think that's straighter. All right. Okay, so the label on my machine is crooked. There we go. Oh, well, that's funny. My grid paper was crooked too, and that was doing my head in. All right. So, I didn't put it on there, and I hadn't noticed, actually, until you kindly pointed that out. So, now it's going to do my head in too. Okay, so we're using the Easter basket stamp set. Now, when you get your stamp set, what I have done with this particular one is I stamped it with my StazOn, Saddle Brown StazOn ink. And not only did I stamp it on the white, I also stamped it on this piece here so that when I actually get organised enough and stick some tape on there, let's find some tape. I'll be able to, let's just stick it on with some tear and tape. I'll be able to pop my stamps directly on. And now you'll see my stamps are stained. I am totally okay with my photopolymer stamps being stained. And the reason for that is that I want to be able to find them when I drop them. Okay, so if they are totally clean, I'm not going to be able to see it, but I can see that one. And so I've cleaned it off and everything, but definitely it's going to be easier to see. All right, I'll fix that up all up later. So I've got a couple of stamps I want to use this time. I want to use a bunny, I want to use some flowers, and I want to use some Easter eggs. Okay. So yes, I'm really looking forward to on stage tomorrow. My suitcase is out and it's only got my crafting things to go in it. So I'm pretty pleased with my progress. So I need to put my paper trimmer and my block and my scissors and all of that sort of thing in it. Now, I'm going to stamp my bunny today in early espresso. Now, you might think that's weird, but I will show you why in just a moment. So, I have already packed my, what do you call it, my stamping pierce mat. So I'm just going to use my silicone craft mat as a little bit of a buffer. That's a nice dark rabbit. Okay. And we're going to, while we've got our stamps out, I'm going to grab some fresh freesia and I am going to just do a little bit of stamping with my little block. On the bottom of my pattern paper. Okay. I'm just stamping in fresh freesia. Just a little bit. Now, if it doesn't turn out completely, you can, if you're feeling confident, go over it again. And I wasn't feeling awfully confident there, so we're just going to put a sentiment or something over there, a bit of ribbon. Oh, look. So I'm going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 down the bottom. And let's do 5 at the top. Now, I'm not happy with that, so I'm going to grab my bit of scrap that I had before of this pattern paper and stamp another little egg. Little egg, not a little leg, a little egg. And no, I haven't made any swap scale. I don't make swaps for on stage. and I wouldn't have been well enough to make them this year, even if I did, because I make them at the last minute. If I'm going to on stage overseas, I will make swaps that are Australian themed, or outside the South Pacific. But if it's in Australia, I don't make swaps. And because it's not a requirement to make swaps, and I don't want to give someone something that's not my best work. So I don't always make swaps because it is, especially if I've been sick or something leading up to on stage, I don't want to not give them my best work. And I used to often make 170, then I went down to 100, and now I just make a few cards that aren't swaps, and so I might give them to someone who I think who isn't swapping, and just random people. So yeah, that suits me a little bit better. And I think there's a lot of pressure in making really fabulous swaps, and I don't want to succumb to that pressure. All right, while I've got this egg out, I'm actually going to put a couple of eggs on the base of this card here. Now, we're not doing any die cutting with the rabbit, and I'm just doing 3 eggs. All right. Okay, so I've got my wink of Stella. Just put those. Oh, I want to do a little bunch of flowers too. And again, I'm going to do them in early espresso. But I am going to add some colour with my wink of Stella brush and my ink pads. Now, I didn't plan this, so I am totally winging it. What I'm also going to do is inside the base card, I just want to add a couple of little flowers. Just down the bottom, maybe add 9 flowers, so stamp it 3 times. Okay, and we do need a sentiment, but I'm going to think about that a little bit more. And while we've got this open, and I'm going to grab, hopefully I've got enough glue in here, grab a little bit of glue and just pop this strip down the side of the inside of my card, just to decorate. So decorating the inside, normally I would put white on the inside of my card, but this is such a pale colour that you don't actually need to. And I always decorate the inside, so. Alright, so we've just trimmed that off. Let's pop that over the side there. Now we want to do a little bit of colouring Now I've got my Wink of Stella brush. I'm just going to grab my silicone craft mat and just dip some ink on the corner. Right. So I'll make sure that ink is up in that corner. And then dip my Wink of Stella brush in it. And then I can quickly colour in these little Easter eggs. Now it's really rough colouring, there's not a lot of science to it. So I'm starting with the fresh freesia. Now even though the back of the paper is a berry burst, I'm not bringing that in, I'm just keeping that okay. And I'm going to do this one here. Okay, and I want to do my flowers in fresh freesia as well. So very, very quick and easy colouring. There's not a lot of science to it. Is anyone who's watching going to on stage in Sydney or somewhere else in the world? Christine, are you going to on stage? I'm hoping I don't keep Megan up too late with all my snoring. But anyway, I told her to bring noise cancelling headphones. Oh, you're not going? Oh, no. Right. Now, if I wanted to, I could colour those on the front. I'm not going to. Now, they're not quite finished, those little eggs. So we're just going to grab a bit of the balmy blue. Just run my Wink of Stella on my paper to get any pink off or fresh freesia off. Now, we also don't want a white rabbit. Okay, we want to give the rabbit a little bit of colour. So I'm going to show you a really easy technique to do that. And I like using early espresso instead of black, like Memento or Stays On, because it just goes so well with light pinks and blues, and it's not quite as harsh. And also you can do a couple of cool techniques with it. Okay. Right, so we've just wiped that off. Okay. Probably need a teeny bit of fresh freesia for in the bunny ears. I'm just going to add a fair amount of, so inside that bunny's ear, we just want it to be a little bit pink. And it didn't go very pink at all, did it? Just add a bit more. More pink. There we go. And a little bit on the nose. Okay. So, you're not going either, Glenda. Oh. Ladies, how do I get to meet you in person if you don't go? All right, so I'm just going to squeeze my Wink of Stella on my craft mat. All right. And I'm just going to bring the edges of my rabbit. So pull that early espresso in, and I don't know if you can actually see that that it actually does colour it. Well, and you probably should do it while it's more, while the early espresso is wetter. So what we might do is pop the teeniest amount of early espresso in the corner of my silicone craft mat. Can you see? Oh, I just love this. And I just draw it down and mix it. And it's going to be a little brown bunny, not so much a white bunny. So you're keeping the brown around the outside, the darker browns. I love you can use your silicone craft mat as a little palette, really. So he's going to be a very sparkly bunny. Make his arms a bit darker. I don't know if it's a he or a she, but it's okay. Bunnies usually have a lighter tummy, so we'll keep the tummy fairly light. Very, very sparkly bunny. And keep the face a bit lighter as well. Oh, thanks, Christine. I think it is a cute little rabbit. I don't normally do a lot of Easter cards, but I did really like this set. And one of my friends and ladies who comes to my classes, she collects for homemade cards for seniors, and they were doing Easter cards, and my intent was to do a whole heap of Easter cards for her. But, you know, best laid plans. So, yes, Steve and I weren't very impressed that we got sick. Let me tell you, today's 2 weeks since I first came down with it. Okay, so I've just cleaned off the end of my brush on my tissue. This isn't the tissue I'm using for my nose, by the way. It's a clean one, well it was. And I'm just going to put a little bit of plain Wink Stella on the tail and also on the leaves, because I don't want the leaves to be stark white, but I also don't want them to be brown as well, because our plants aren't dying. But I will grab a bit more Wink Stella and do with the brown, and do the centre of the flowers, because some flowers have a brown centre, like sunflowers have brown centres. So I'm really happy with that. Just want to do this bit here a little bit darker as well, to just make sure that he's got a bit of a shadow under his chin and under his ear. Is it a he or a she? I don't know. Doesn't really matter, does it? Okay. Okay, so I'm happy with that bunny. Wipe off the excess ink. give your brush a good clean off. All right, so we've got that part. I'll just close up my ink pads so I don't lose them. Now, as I said, this is a really, really basic card. It's sort of card making 101. So let's grab our bone folder and just make sure we've creased that edge, that fold really well. Now I want to make my blue layer just a little bit darker. So what I'm going to do is just do a direct to paper and just grab my ink pad and go around the edge. And it doesn't have to be perfect, it just has to add some colour. Now the reason I'm not putting it on my scratch paper is because I want to use that again. All right. Okay. Here we go. And we're going to pop that on to our base card. Don't use too much glue, just a little. Okay. Just a little bit of glue and just pop that right in the centre. Get your bone folder and just pop it down. Okay, then we've got our next layer. Now if you wanted to, you could do Easter eggs down either side. I'm only doing top and bottom. And I'm using, so every time you get a pack of Designer Series paper, it tells you on the pack what colours coordinate with the paper. So this one, this boho one, or bokeh, I don't know how you say it. Anyway, it's a spotty one. It tells me that some of the colours in it are fresh freesia and balmy blue. So I know that I can easily use those. Now, I do want to use these little die cuts just across the top corner, but they're a little bit, what's the word? They're a little bit pale. So I grab my fresh freesia and I'm hoping that I have some sort of colouring tool up here. Oh. So I've got the wheels on my cabinets for my craft room. Steve put them on. He's painted my cabinets and he's put the wheels on. So I'm hoping that I will have new cabinets assembled and desk assembled by the time I get back from on stage. Although Steve did say that our garden is probably a month overdue being done, which is fair enough. It's probably longer than that because he's been working really hard. So I'm just inking the bottom edge of these two with the pink, right? So fresh freesia. And then, like, everyone forgets about their sponge daubers. They're so easy to use. And they're so easy to clean. You just put them in a little lingerie bag and chuck them in with your towels. And my mum was horrified when she first saw me do that. It was quite funny, actually. She was so horrified that I was chucking my crafting things in with the towels. It's alright. It's all getting washed, isn't it? Okay. So I'm also going to use some balmy blue. And I'm going to just pop some balmy blue along the top edge. And while I've got my balmy blue out, I'm just going to use that to go around the edge of my cardstock. So how easy is that? It's just so easy, just really quick flick. And it just lifts it a little bit. Now, we want to, I think I want to do, I actually want to see how this looks. I'm just going to grab my early espresso, just put the edge of my fresh freesia on the early espresso. So it's quite a simple, it's a simple direct to paper. Okay. Now I do think we need a little bow on our flowers. So I have some fresh freesia ribbon. This wasn't the ribbon I thought I was bringing up here, but anyway. This is probably retired. Yes, it is. There is a current fresh freesia ribbon that you could probably use instead. I just picked up the wrong one. You know, it's going to be so nice having all of my crafting stuff in one place. I cannot wait. It'd be nice to have a desk that I can pull away from the wall and someone can craft with me if they, in my craft room if they want to. And it's going to be such fun. Just doing a little bow here. Now, I haven't done a sentiment on the front. I want to put these, first of all, I want to put these things on, my little banners. And I'm going to put them on after I pop this on dimensionals. Now, don't you, any of you listen to Beck Hall, you need lots of dimensionals. Okay, 2 dimensionals is not, or 4 dimensionals is not enough for anyone. Okay, just putting that out there. There seems to be a very big delay in my live and my chat. So let me just try that again. You would put on at least 7. That's right. I know, you do not put, like, in the scheme of things, this foam is cheap, right? So you want to make sure that you aren't super frugal with it. Like, it's there to do a job. It's there to prop up your cards and give them dimension. Right, that's its job. So you want to allow it, well, use enough of it so that it does its job properly. Okay, it's probably needed a little bit more blue across the top. There we go. And we're going to pop this little banner across here. That's cute. And it's, yeah, let's put it on dimensionals too. While I'm having my little dimensional lecture, let's use it, hey. If I had mini dimensionals here, I do. And I'm only using black ones so that you can see them, right? But I have mini ones here. And I'm going to pop those on this as well. I'm glad you approve, Christine. That's the way. Lots of them. I know I've told this story before, but years ago, I think it was my second Stamping Up event, Aaron, who used to be head of Stamping Up in Australia, and he wasn't a crafter, but he was a really great man. And he did a card and he put like 50 dimensionals on the card. And so everyone went out and bought lots of dimensionals, and it was quite funny because he had no clue how many he could or couldn't use. He just thought, well, I need to use them, so I'm going to use a lot of them. So I'm lining this up with the edge of my outside card, right, and then just maneuvering it a little bit so that I'll just I can cut a little bit off the side. Okay, just like that. Right, so that's one little loop. Do I want another one? I don't think it needs it. I don't think it needs 2. What do you think? I think I could probably put a little one down the bottom. That would work. All right, let's use that. Okay, so now we're going to pop this on here. She would, she'd be horrified, wouldn't she? Christine Beckhall would definitely be horrified. I can almost see her eye twitching as she watches this. You should tag her and say, this is how many you should use, Beck. She'd be just twitching. That's so funny. I'm really looking forward to seeing her this week. I missed going to Vegas and seeing her and a few others, so yeah. So if you aren't aware, On Stage is Stamping Up's version of a conference. And so we start with an afternoon session on Thursday afternoon. And we usually get to see the new catalogue then. And then like there's a presentation and an opening thing, and then Thursday night we get there is an opening event, and I'm not sure if it's often it's desserts. It says appetizers, but I'm hoping that's got some savoury stuff this time. I have met Fiona before, yes, quite a few times. She likes flamingos, a bit like me. So, no, I don't think I'm going to put that there. I'm going to change that completely, and I'm going to stick this on the inside of my card because I've got glue on it and I may as well use it. All right. So now we've got to put our little bow on our flowers. Yes. And then I am going to put some embellishments on, and we need to think about our sentiment. Now this is where your little scrap pile comes into play. All right. So what I could have done is I could have made this front piece a bit smaller and then cut off a bit of white for my sentiment. Could have, should have, but I didn't. So, oh, I've just lost my... So we're going to grab a glue dot or three. And we are going to pop this little bow on with a glue dot. Now I have packed my pick tools because I don't want to leave those at home. Oh, so yeah, I was talking about it on stage. So then on Friday and Saturday, Friday morning, they have a leaders breakfast, which demonstrators who are Silver Elite and above get to go to. So I'm lucky this time I get to go. Because once you have to meet certain requirements to maintain your level of once you've earned it. So it isn't easy always to maintain Silver Elite because or any of the leader levels, because it relies on your team members reaching certain levels. I like that little bow there. So yeah, so sometimes you get to go and sometimes you don't. So this time I'm qualified, so I will go to, they have a leaders breakfast Friday morning, and then on Friday they do all sorts of different breakout sessions and you get to play with new product. And have you people seen these hairbands? They're really cheap and they're just corkscrew hairband. You can even get them at Woolworths, but they're a bit cheaper if you go to the reject shop. And they are, oh sorry, my light went out. They just hold, let's see if I can turn that back on. Sorry about that, my light went out. They can just hold your ribbon in place. And then when you finish with that roll of ribbon, you just move it on to the next roll. They are so good. So, because I have a habit of dropping my ribbon. And I drop it all the time and it unravels and it goes across the room. So when I use these little things, which take no effort, and I drop my ribbon, it doesn't unravel. It's awesome. Okay, I'll just have a look at the the chat here. Oh, you love Beck's craft studio. It is amazing. She's very lucky to have a studio. I've been trying to get my garage turned into a studio for the past 15 years and we're not getting any closer. Oh, Gail, thank you. I inspired you to use Wink of Stella and ink to colour your flowers for your retreat gifts. I meant to ask you how that went. Oh, you bought a heap of those the other day. That's awesome. Okay, so I'm preaching to the converted there. It's just amazing to have those little things. So we need to add a little bit of bling and we need to talk about our sentiment. What sentiment should we use on this? Where is my sentiments? So we have the choices of Happy Easter, Easter's on its way, Hello Spring, or For You. I think a For You would fit nicely in there, wouldn't it? Now, do I still have a bit of that scrap left? I think I do. Yeah, what do we think? What? We don't want to have a big sentiment. So this is where we use our bits of scraps. Yeah, you can get them cheap on Amazon too, Christine. I think we're going to use For You. I think that's a nice sentiment. And we will just I'm going to just cut it at 1/2 inch. Oh, that might not be big enough. Let's try 3/4 inch and I can always cut it down, can't I? Okay, so we've got some scrap. And we want to, so had I been thinking of it, what I could have done is on this base card, cut right in the centre, cut a little piece out and used that for my sentiment. But I didn't, so I want to make it blue. So let's just pop a bit of blue on here. And I want to make it sort of almost a boat, like a spotty look. So I'm just going to colour that whole piece of white. So this is balmy blue. And it is longer than what my sentiment's going to be. And that's quite okay. And we'll put the sentiment in early espresso as well, so we're not having to get out a whole heap of new ink pads. I wonder if it does fit on that one. Yes, it does. Let's just rethink that again. Pop that away for another day. And let's do it on the narrower piece because I think it will look better on the narrower piece. And that'll save us from having to cut it down too much. It's only the... And I want some spots that are darker than others, because that's sort of like what the paper is like. All right. And we're just going to stamp our For You. Oh, that's cute. doesn't early espresso look really lovely with balmy blue? I think it's a really great colour combination. And I think that early espresso is a really unsung hero of your craft room. Okay? It really, people don't use it nearly enough. I'm just going to trim that down. Up there. That looks pretty good. Let's grab my ink pad back again, because I just want to dip that end in so it's consistent all the way around. Alright, so this is probably the easiest card you're going to make, and it took me forever. But anyway, so we're going to grab our little dimensionals, and I will say on this one we can probably get away with just 2. Alright, I could put a third one in the middle if I really wanted to. Now when you put them on, make sure that you put them in the centre of the card so you can't see them, like centre them top to bottom. And we're just going to pop that right about here. And I'm having it go off the edge a little bit so it sort of lines up with that base layer. So there you go. So that is my took forever card. But it's more that I was chatting than anything else. Thank you, Glenda. Yeah, it doesn't have any bling on it. So we might just add a little bit of bling while we're here. And we will add the bling to the banner at the top. And these are just basic rhinestones. I was going to say basic dimensionals. But basic rhinestones. And they are super cute. And they just add a little bit of finish to our card. So there we go. I might actually trim that little bit off. That's annoying me. There we go. That's better. I like that better. All right. So there is our card. I'm glad you love it. It's simple. It uses that a lot of that quarter of a 12 by 12 sheet or a 6 by 6 sheet. It uses a foundation layer of half a sheet of cardstock, then a quarter of a sheet, then an eighth, and then a bit less than an eighth. So there you go. That's our foundations card tonight. Everyone have a really lovely rest of the week. Stay safe, particularly those of you in North Queensland who are experiencing flooding. I've seen some horrific pictures. I'm about to go and ring my brother and make sure that he's okay, because he lives near Bundaberg and I don't know if he is home or if he is travelling. And so I'm going to go and see if he's okay. I think they're travelling, so who knows if the house is okay, but it's just a house, really. If it's there when they get back, that's great. If it's not, well, they'll have to deal with it then. All right. Yeah, have a great week. Stay well, stay safe. Those of you who are going to on stage, have a fantastic time. Make sure you come and say hello, or because, you know, we've got to say hello to each other. And yeah, until next time, happy creating and bye for now.